So welcome to day 2. Of greater than, less than, or equal to. So we are comparing decimals. So let's go through a few examples. 4 and 81/100 is greater than or less than or equal to 4 and 18/100. So yesterday I showed you with a place value chart. I will not be handing out place value charts. You can choose to make one on your paper, or you can simply line up the dots. When I say line up the dots, it's just a non-mathematical way to line up the decimals. So you would take and rewrite the problem on your paper. 4 and 81/100, and make sure you're lining up the dot, the decimal, 4 and 18/100. Now it is all lined up. Then you just go through. 4 and 4 is the same. Decimal is the same. Right here is the first one that's different. The 8 is larger than the 1. So the 1 with the 8 is larger than the 1 with the 1. So 4 and 81/100 is greater than 4 and 18/100. Okay, example number 2. 49 and 181 thousandths is greater than, less than, or equal to 48 and 19/100. So this is, again, just a review from yesterday. Without a place value chart, you will need to write them down. 49.181, 48.19. We've got everything lined up. Okay. If you want to make them have the same amount of decimals, that's fine, but not necessary, because you're still going left to right. 4 and 4, 9 and 8. We've already got one that's different. 9 is greater than 8. All right. So that is, I'm going to do one more simple one, and then today we're going to get into a little bit more complex. A simple one I'm going to do is rewrite them. Four and 4 is the same. Decimal. 6 and 6 is the same. We have nothing and we have 0. Well, in math, nothing is something. Nothing is 0. So 0 and 0, those are actually equal. Okay, the next examples we're going to go over is using our knowledge of greater than or less than to line up items in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. All right. So the biggest thing here is following the directions. If it says least to greatest, you have to put the smallest one first. So let's take some numbers. 4 and 85/100, 6 and 100, 4 and 9/10, and 4 and 95/100. Okay, now this one's going to take a little more effort because you still need to line them up. 4.85, 6.01, 4.9, 4.95. Now that you have all of them lined up with a decimal point, you're going to start on the left and look for the smallest one. Well, 4 is the smallest, but we've got 3 4s. So we have to go to the next one. Now I have an 8, a 9, and a 9. Notice I skipped the 0 because it's got a 6. We're only looking at the ones with the 4. Well, 8 is smaller than 9, so that means this one is my smallest. So if I'm writing it from least to greatest, I'm going to write it first. Then I go 9 and 9 are the same. Nothing and 5, 1 math again, nothing is something, nothing is 0. 0 is less than 5, so that is my next one. But I write it like this because this is my number, not adding the 0. If it says order these numbers, this is 4 and 9/10, this is 4 and 90/100. So you have to write the original number. Okay, so this one is done. That only leaves 1 4. And then the highest one is the one with the 6. And there is from least to greatest. Okay, one more type of problem. Now, if it would have said greatest to least, you would have had to have written it backwards. So always make sure you're following the directions. The other ordering type problem you're going to run into is something like this. And it'll say what number goes in between. I'm going to line these up. 8, 2, 5, 8, 3, and I'm going to make them have the same amount of digits. So in math, nothing is something, nothing means 0, and it makes a lot more sense now to know that I'm looking for something between 8 and 25/100 and 8 and 30/100. By saying 8 and 3/10, it makes it a little confusing, but if you make it have the same amount of places after the decimal, we're going to realize that, well, 26, 27, 28, and 29 all work. So if I have multiple choice questions, this, well, I don't see a simple 26, 27, 28, or a 29. So what I'm going to do is put one more 0 on these because all of these have 1, 2, 3 place values. 1, 2, 3 place values after the decimal. So now I'm going to look for a number between 250 and 300. Well, 16 is under 250. 228 is between 250 and 300, so my answer is B. So when given a scenario like this, line them up and make all of them have the same place values. It's going to be the easiest way to get those answers. We're going to do one more of these, and then I will turn you loose. Okay, so it's wanting to know what numbers could be in the box. Again, I'm going to line up my numbers. But if I look up my answers, okay, so on this one, I have 1 after the decimal. This one I have 1, 2, 3 after the decimal. This one I have 1, 2. Okay, always go with the most. This one has 3, so I'm going to make all of mine have 1, 2, 3 places after the decimal. Adding the zeros at the end does not change the place value. Now they all have 3 places, and I'm looking for something that has that will fall between 460 and 500. Well, 400 is less, 456 is less, 470 does fall between, so my answer is C. All right, so there's your last example of the day. Good luck on your work.